For over 55 years, your source for agribusiness news and features from around the Southeast and across the country, focusing on one of the nation's top industries, agriculture. The Farm Monitor is produced by the Georgia Farm Bureau in association with Baldwin Agricultural College.
Well, would you look at that? All the happy faces out there, and you know what? When you're happy, we're happy too.
Hi everybody, so glad you could join us for another edition of the Farm Monitor. I'm Jennifer Parson, he's Ray DeLesio, and hopefully that smile stays on your face when you see what we have in store for you. Straight ahead, big news for Southwest Georgia. ABAC bringing its top-ranked ag program to Bainbridge. What it means for local students and the future of Georgia agriculture.
Also on the show, as a lifelong champion of Georgia's forests, Bob Izlar's fight for conservation has shaped policy-inspired leaders and earned him one of Farm Bureau's top honors. We'll tell you what it is. Plus,
well, everybody, Ranger Nick coming up a little bit later. You know, there's no doubt that row crops exist because of beautiful pollinator gardens like this and all the pollinators that help them reproduce. Well, this month, we're going to learn about how pesticides are used to encourage pollinators to help those row crops. That and so much more starts right now on the Farm Monitor.
stay close, but go far. That's the motto of the ABAC Bainbridge campus, which recently added the school's world-renowned agricultural education program in order to attract local talent. Damon Jones tells you what this degree has to offer and why it is so important to the industry in Southwest Georgia.
For generations, agriculture has defined and guided the economic landscape around Southwest Georgia. And to help continue that, Baldwin Agricultural College has added their nationally recognized ag education program to the Bainbridge campus starting this fall. It's an exciting announcement that has been years in the making.
It's been part of the vision from the very beginning when I started a little over 3 years ago, and I'm just really proud of the team. It's a team effort, and that everybody jumped on board and that we moved into action and put all the logistics in place to be able to do this fall. So we're just incredibly excited.
And so should all prospective students in the surrounding area, as this now opens the door for those looking to stay close to home while also earning a college degree in agriculture. It's the type of workforce development that can only strengthen the industry within the state.
There may be some folks that are currently working within industry that want to complete a degree, and I think that then they're going to be able to do that because we're going to be closer to home. And then also there may be some students that don't wish to travel to Tifton, and so they can find this a little bit more accessible as well.
This county, this region, it's a huge agricultural footprint here. And as you know, this program is the leading agricultural education program in the country, and it just makes sense to be able to expand that reach, not only the offerings here, but be able to better service this region and provide those opportunities for students that are looking to move into the agricultural pathways.
Despite the name, this is a versatile program that offers plenty of courses for those looking to get into fields like ag management or extension.
Sometimes people will hear the term agricultural education and think that's teacher preparation, which it is. We also then have what we call a track called agricultural studies within that major. So if there's a student that wants to focus on agronomy or something that they want to focus in more animal science related, they have that flexibility to do that. So that's why we've chose that degree, working with industry partners to really develop work-ready graduates that can stay in this region, which is a great agricultural impacted area, and to really supply them with the next generation of workers, but managers, innovators, and that know the technical side of agriculture.
As for initial reaction from the community, it has been overwhelmingly positive after years of discussion and planning.
It is something that the community has been asking for. I've been meeting with community leaders, agricultural leaders in the community since I've been here, and they've all expressed an interest in asking when are we going to have some ag programs in Bainbridge. So we're just really excited to be able to launch this today.
Reporting from Bainbridge, I'm Damon Jones for the Farm Monitor.
From his roots in the Okefenokee swamp to championing fair land use, Bob Izlar has dedicated his life to protecting Georgia's forests and rural heritage, work that's earned him one of Georgia Farm Bureau's highest honors. The Monitor's John Holcomb has more.
For Bob Izlar, being outdoors is without a doubt his happy place, especially after growing up in South Georgia, where he spent most of his time hunting, fishing, and gaining an appreciation for the land and forests that surrounded him.
I'm from Ware County, grew up down there in the 50s and 60s, hunting and fishing a lot in the Okefenokee swamp, so I got to know the Okefenokee really well. Always has had a special place in my heart.
After high school, Izlar enrolled at the University of Georgia, where the Vietnam War era and ROTC requirements shaped the direction of his life, in which he served in the military overseas until 1974. Eventually, Izlar landed at the Georgia Forestry Association, a position he held for over a decade, which allowed him the chance to advocate in a decades-long effort for fair taxation on agricultural and forest lands.
The Farm Bureau and Georgia Forestry Association had worked hand in hand for 26 years to get current use treatment of ag land and forest land. And for 26 years, we got kicked in the teeth. Could not get it passed, couldn't even get it on the ballot. And in the 27th year, the conditions finally got right that we were able to get the resolution passed.
For Izlar, forestry and the conservation of it has never been just a job. To him, it's a cause, one he believes is worth fighting for, which is why in 1997, Izlar became the founding director of UGA's Harley Langdale Jr. Center for Forestry Business, creating a successful program to educate future forestry leaders and advocates.
Forestry, at its very basic, is agriculture. The forest brings us so many benefits. Clean air, clean water, wildlife. Forestry is a calling, it's a profession, but to me it's also a cause. And it's extremely important that future generations, learn about the benefits of forest so that they all don't get converted to something else through time.
For Izlar, that cause, alongside Georgia Farm Bureau, go hand in hand, as he says he's humbled and proud to be part of an organization that fights to protect and defend agriculture, forestry, and the rural way of life.
It's just a deep respect that I have because it's a farmer organization. They have my values as I think I have theirs, because we love the land, we love the United States of America, we love private property rights. We want to see the rural life continue. In Georgia, I think all of us understand that that rural lifestyle is certainly under threat. So Farm Bureau is one of the last guardians of the rural lifestyle.
Reporting in Danielsville for the Farm Monitor, I'm John Holcomb.
Well, hey everybody, Ranger Nick, quick trivia question for you. What does this tractor and a pollinator garden have in common? Give up? I'll explain after the break.
When a university is driven by purpose, even the smallest action can be the start of something big. One idea, one partnership, one discovery can impact lives across the globe. A shared curiosity builds understanding. Understanding shapes leaders. And leaders shape the future of our world. Through cutting-edge research, we achieve bold breakthroughs. With every step, we open new doors. Because we know that every moment has the potential to spark lasting change. And every person can plant the seed for something greater. A lifetime of learning, a future of innovation, a commitment to teach, to serve, and to inquire into the nature of things. At the University of Georgia College of Agricultural and Environmental Sciences, we cultivate knowledge. We pursue groundbreaking research. And we proudly address the world's most pressing challenges for a stronger, healthier, and more sustainable planet.
Holding a juvenile Juro spider. Until next time, for the Farm Monitor, I'm Ranger Nick, reminding you, like I always do, that enthusiasm is contagious. Well, how about that beautiful shot? High above a beautiful pollinator garden right here on the campus of UGA Tifton. And I found myself on the way down here today pondering the title of stewardship. What is stewardship? And in particular, what is pesticide stewardship? And I find myself running right into Dr. Taylor Singleton. Dr. Taylor Singleton specializes in pesticide stewardship as an assistant professor and extension specialist in the Department of Crop and Soil Sciences at UGA. And Doc, in front of this beautiful plot, when you say pesticide stewardship, caring for pesticides, talk to me about how this relates to your world.
Yeah, sure. So pesticide stewardship is really a concept of how we use pesticide products. That's herbicides, insecticides, and fungicides. Using those products in a way that not only supports our farm, our agronomic goals, increasing yield, protecting our crop from pests, but also using those products in a way that is sustainable. So using the products in a way that keeps that product in the field where we intend it to go, protecting the consumer, protecting ourselves, the applicator, but also protecting the environment around us, supporting that environment around us. And so thinking about pesticide stewardship, a big part of that is supporting species that may be a little bit more sensitive to our stressors as humans. And that includes pollinator species. And so here we have a pollinator plot where we're working using pesticides to create these habitats for species that may need a little additional help.
And not to mention studying this at UGA Tifton, but also how beautiful this looks and the aesthetic appeal of an agricultural field, what that could do for folks in the area to encourage them to explore more about ag and get them excited. Habitat for wildlife?
Habitat for
You're
wildlife.
studying that as a pesticide stewardship specialist. All right, so we've moved down the road a couple of miles over here to Ponder Farm, still part of UGA Tifton. And Doc, I know that field didn't by accident look how beautiful it was. Obviously, some planting had to occur, and we're standing in front of a table with some beautiful seeds. Where do we go from here? How do you mix this?
Yeah, so we're doing a lot of research to better understand how do we install these pollinator habitats on the farm to the point that they're going to be successful. And what we're finding is our biggest challenge in doing that is managing weeds. And so we're doing work to better understand how to manipulate the planting method, how do we manipulate what ratio of the different components of the seeding mix will help us cover that ground quickly and control weeds. And so what we do before we start any study is we want to see what ratio of those species is going to be appropriate for getting quick ground cover, quick blooms. And we start here in our outdoor laboratory. We have our different seeds, we have a scale, and we actually have an oil dry mixture as well. It's basically just cat litter.
Okay.
That provides us a bulking agent so that when we measure out however many seeds we need, we can mix that all together with our oil dry, and that'll help keep everything in a nice suspension as it goes through our planting equipment. So what we do, we measure out our different components depending on our protocol, and then we add everything into this very scientific concrete mixer. This has been modified just a little bit to provide a good mechanism for getting that seed really mixed up well. So this is what we use to create our mixture. We pull our seed out of this mixture and we'll put it into our planting equipment next.
So that tractor right there is responsible for the way this field looks. Doc, this is a beautiful place. I know this wasn't by accident, but you're telling me that tractor had a mixture of seeds like we just mixed. You put it out here and you're studying this now? Explain that.
Yeah, so actually we want to get a better understanding of how can we provide extended weed control in pollinator habitats. Again, we're dealing with some pretty aggressive weeds. This is palmer amaranth here, very present in many of our agriculture fields.
Grows faster than the pollinators,
very
okay.
fast. And so when we plant the pollinator mix, we need to be in a clean field to start with, and then we can manipulate the planting like we've talked about. But one of the most important pieces of this puzzle is that herbicides provide that extended weed control that we need to ensure we don't have the competition from weeds. So we're actually studying that here. We're looking at different herbicides that we can apply just after seeding, but before the plants emerge, to extend that weed control. Because most people don't think about the value that a pesticide could bring to a pollinator habitat. But when we establish these sites on farm, the use of pesticides, specifically herbicides, in that establishment period is critical. We've got to be able to control those weeds, and pesticides really bring value to that environmental objective.
And that's what I love to hear you say. There's value in pesticides. I've learned a lot. Doc, thank you for this month.
Thank you for coming.
I've really enjoyed it and I've learned a lot. So y'all know what to do while you're planting yourself in front of the computer or the television. Check out the Farm Monitor Facebook page and the Ranger Nick Facebook page. And until next time, for the Farm Monitor, I'm Ranger Nick, reminding you, as always, that enthusiasm is contagious. So pass it on. Y'all, thanks so much for watching. We'll see you right back here again next month. See ya. Holding a juvenile Juro spider. Until next time, for the Farm Monitor, I'm Ranger Nick, reminding you, like I always do, that enthusiasm is contagious.
After the break, Dr. Kennon, an ABAC professor who loves staying humble, but with his head in the clouds as a commercial pilot, he finds it really hard sometimes to remain grounded. His story and ties to Georgia agriculture next.
Just like people, animals get sick. So what if we had a tool that would kill all the bacteria, no matter what? What if we had a tool that was safe to use? And unlike antibiotics, or some of the other things that we're using to replace antibiotics, that once you put it in the wastewater, would fall apart, disappear, and be safe, instead of persisting in the soil or in the water. Well, that's what we're working on. So my assignment is digital dermatitis. It's a bacterial infection, affects cattle, but it can infect sheep, goats, any ruminant animal with hooves. And it creates a big sore right on the skin at the line of the hoof. And there's lots of different bacteria involved in these, the major one being a spiral snake-shaped bacteria in the family Treponema. These bacteria get in and they just make a huge mess of the place. So the US cattle population is in the billions, and that's combining beef and dairy. Over a third of these animals will experience lameness at some point in their production cycle. Over half of the lameness is caused by digital dermatitis. What we've been working on is some alternative chemicals for foot baths and some alternative chemicals for treatment. And that's where these biocides come in. I started with Billy Hart Cooper. His lab, they called me up one day, and they're out in California, and there's a lot of dairies in California, and so they knew that this was something that possibly could help in the dairy industry. I said, let's work together.
Right now, antibiotic use is being restricted in agriculture to prevent the risk of developing antibiotic resistance to clinical diseases. Because of that, there are a limited number of tools that are available to treat these hoof infections. Some of the existing tools are heavy metals like copper that'll persist in the soil and water, and formaldehyde, which is a carcinogen and reproductive toxin. Both of them present hazards for the workers and for the environment. So we screened hundreds of different compounds, many natural compounds, some synthetic, and we identified the chemical attributes that are necessary to make a broad spectrum, highly effective antimicrobial that can kill bacteria, mold, and yeast, and be safe on the skin.
We've been developing a sheep model of digital dermatitis. We took our sheep and we tested it. Billy's team really knocked it out of the park. In 2 treatments, it completely cured severe digital dermatitis in our sheep. The average producer is going to want something where they can treat a lot more animals a lot faster without restraint. Ideally, a foot bath. We got some cattle. What we saw was a 60% reduction in lesion size. We're really excited that we think we have something that we can take forward and really help the producers.
Finally this week here at the Farm Monitor, our partnership with ABAC continues to bring you inspiring stories from the heart of agriculture. And this week we're going beyond the desk.
Get ready to meet Dr. Kennon Deal. Raised in rural Appling County, Dr. Deal's journey from small town farm kid to the skies above reveals a fascinating love for aviation that has shaped his life.
My name is Kennon Deal. I am an associate professor of chemistry and biochemistry. My family's farm is in lower Appling County. We grew up very rural. I rode a bus for an hour and a half to school every day. My dad is awesome. There's no other way to put it. I love him to death. I am like the mini-me of my dad. My dad is 81 now, so he still tries to do a bunch, but he gets in trouble all the time, so I try to go back as much as I can. I come home one day and he was on top of our middle building, which is like 15 foot in the air, and so my mom gets on to him all the time, but he just refuses to slow down or whatever. So I go back as much as I can to do the stuff that he can't do or doesn't need to do. My dad is very, very small, like kind of a smaller stature guy, but his personality, whatever, is so big. He went to ABAC in, I think it was 59 to 61 or either 60 to 62, I can never remember. He tried to get me to go to ABAC for undergrad, but of course I was the 18-year-old that didn't want to listen and do whatever else I wanted to. So that's kind of my experience with ABAC. That's how, when I was looking for a job, that's how I thought of ABAC, was because Dad went to school here. If I'm not at the farm, I work at the Moultrie Airport as a lineman, so I fuel airplanes, pull them in out of the hangar, run the office, that kind of stuff. If I'm not doing that, I'm a commercial pilot, so I fly for Georgia Forestry. I've worked probably 2 or 3 fires. So talking to guys on the ground and just telling them where the fire's at and making sure they're safe and they're not in any kind of trouble or anything like that, telling them where to go, what I see from the air, just gives them an overhead perspective so they have a better understanding of what the fire is doing and that kind of stuff. It's challenging, but it's beautiful. It's just getting paid to fly is an awesome experience, to be honest with you. Aviation I was that little kid laying in the grass, like looking at the airplanes flying overhead, wondering where they were going and how high they were and how fast they were going. Once the wheels break the ground, it is just peaceful. It is my happy place. Getting that license and getting the ratings I have now is, next to my PhD in chemistry, is probably my best accomplishment, I think. My chemistry experience started in high school. I had a professor, or a teacher back in high school in Appling County. He has passed away now, but his name was DeLone Brewer, and he was just a redneck farm boy like I was. But in class, I could ask him any science question I could think of, or really anything, and he could come up with a good answer. I always thought it was fascinating that even if he didn't know anything about the topic, he could logically kind of put a thought process together and come up with an answer that was normally in the ballpark always. And so I knew as soon as I graduated high school what I wanted to do. I am proud of being a pilot, but I am most proud of being a great professor. Like, I love my job. This is the best job on the planet.
Great story. Huge thanks to our friends at ABAC for that.
For Ray and everyone here at the show, I'm Jennifer Parson. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on the Farm Monitor. Have a great week.